And now let's try and tune in to no good music from an undisclosed location somewhere in New Jersey. Bon Jovi's new album marks a new low point for the band.
Oh, I thought that was back in 91.
And then his glasses would come off and he'd be like, I'm sexy.
People love music, and musicians love musicians.
I just cried my eyes out because I was so honored. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I thought I would hear just a little, like, you know?
Yeah.
I just was looking at it from the standpoint of, can you imagine him drumming for, with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers? That's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm going, he's going, da-da-da-da-da-da.
So where is the puppet? Like, who has the puppet?
So, I don't know if it's alive or not.
Yeah, where is he?
Yo, yo, yo. We are back.
We're back.
This is Rob.
And Jeremy.
And we are on show 77. And this is our annual album roulette show where we randomly pick 3 albums each. We use a number generator. I don't know if you want me to go first. And Jeremy, I haven't seen you since last night. What's new?
Yeah.
No,
a lot has changed in 12 hours.
Yeah. No, we went, we recorded last night and we went to the local brewery, Bootsville.
Yep.
That was fun. They did a trivia night. We got there a little late, but we just observed. But that was really good. Yeah. And then we watched Crust, which has the No Good Music T-shirt that one of the actress Rebecca Kennedy is wearing. You can kind of see it, and somewhere on her jacket is the HorrorCon Lounge pin.
Yeah.
Probably have to zoom in or something.
Right.
So, anyway.
Didn't see it at quick glance, but it's on there somewhere.
Yeah.
And she's wearing a No Good Music T-shirt.
Yeah. And it's an interesting movie.
Yeah.
It's a comedy horror. It's about a sock monster. It's in black and white.
It wasn't bad.
No. And we kind of know Sean Whalen. He put a lot into that movie.
Yep.
And he's going to be filming locally, and we might have a chance to be in something with him and Rebecca. So we'll see. Anyway.
Cool. Yeah.
So music, do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to go with my worst album, and I always somehow seem to get a rap album. This is DOECHII, DOECHII, Alligator Bites Never Heal. It's good to know, if you're down in Florida, and, so every song on the album is explicit. It's considered a hip-hop rap album, and, like I said, I always love a good rap album when I do the album roulette. So there's 19 songs on here, and I'm not going to go through all of them. Let's see. So I've kind of pulled a lyric from most of the songs, so you get a feel of what we're going for here. And also, of course, for comedic purposes. Warning, this is, turn this off if you have kids listening.
Oh, God.
So track 1 is Stankapoo. Yes, Stankapoo. I don't think it's about her bowel movements, but it's a song about death. And the lyric is, pop my shit, then a muscle relaxer. I have no idea what that means. Track 2 is Bullfrog.
Bulldog.
There's a lot of mention of bitches. You know, I could bleep out some of this, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of mention of bitches. Oh, you could hear me say that anyway. I said it. Bitches. Okay. First line is sitting up high. Miss, I'm just going to say N-word, tough guy. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Hopefully this isn't torture for people listening, but, you know, I try and make it funny here. Track 3, boiled peanuts. And the beginning is actually funny with her and her friend wondering what boiled peanuts are.
Right.
And I think it's her friend saying, you want a boiled peanut? And then she says, what the is a boiled peanut? Yeah. And I've actually had boiled peanuts. Matt and I we went to Georgia one time. And someone was selling boiled peanuts on the side of the road. And I think we had one or two, and I think we threw the bag out the window.
Yeah.
They were so bad. I don't know why people buy them or sell them. Track 4, Denial is a River. Again, starts with conversation, then she goes into talking about someone she dated. Lyric, got my lick back. turns a N-word to a knick-knack. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. We'll kind of skip. I don't know. Then we got, let's see, Catfish, track 5. You know, I don't have much to say on this album. What's up? Let's see. Now, track 8 is Bloom. Again, starts with a conversation, I think, between her and her mother. And this is she's actually singing on this song. So she's actually not a bad singer. And it's actually a pleasant, like, R&B song, the song Bloom. That's probably the only good thing I have to say about this album. Track 9 is Wait. At first, this starts out as a nice song, has kind of a TLC feel, and then we get into a rap about gelatin and elephants eating peanuts, and some N-words thrown in for good measure. So I think about every song on here has the N-word, and it's not, you know, nitroglycerin we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. And track 10, I have probably the best rap song on here. Song about life. Lyric, as sweat drips down I contemplate how it ever get like this. Maybe I'm missing a word there. Gets like this. And then track 11 is Profit. It's about, you know, your typical rap song about fame and money. Track 12, Boom Bap. And it's a song about rapping. Doing rapping. Yeah, a lot of rapping. And, you know, that ass, a magnet. I get it, you know, attractive as shit. That's the lyric in the song. Track 13 is Nissan Altima.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really funny song. And the rapping is insane on this song. I'm serious as far as rapping goes, you know. Chorus is pretty catchy, but you might not want to sing it in public. Something about putting your sticks up, mother sticks up. That's and I can't even say the first couple lines of the song. It's just insane. So anyway, check that out.
Vulgar, or you just couldn't understand it?
No, just vulgar.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And it's not about a Nissan Altima. Okay. Yeah, and then it goes on and on. Track 14, GTFO. You know,
Get the
Out of My Way. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And this song is a duet with an artist by the name of Fetish. I can't even say. It starts with a C. Well, starts with a C and ends with a T. Yeah. But that name starts with a K. They just changed the C to the K. 4-letter word. There you go. That's all I'll say. But this is where I drew the line. You know, there are 5 more songs in the album. You know, I'm sure they were just as great as the first 14 I listened to.
Yeah.
Now, the cover of the album is DOECHII holding an albino alligator. And, you know, the title is Alligator Bites That Never Heal. She hasn't learned her lesson, though, because she's holding an alligator. And actually, I have a little bit about this. She posted on Instagram the concept for the album cover and the song title. She said the alligator performs a spinning maneuver known as the death roll to submerge and dismember its prey underwater.
Okay.
This past year, I've grappled with what felt like a relentless death roll in my life. A dance of drowning in my own vices, battling differences with my record label, and a creative numbness that broke me. In my research about alligator attacks, I found that a common thread in each survivor was that the main reason they survived is because they fought back. So this is kind of a mixtape, this album. She says, this mixtape is my fight back. I am nobody's prey. I was born to be a predator. So kind of a good message, you know, never give up. Keep writing those songs. And here's what the critics said. This is from the fashion magazine Clash, and I think Jeremy subscribes to that one. Anna Lamont remarked, I'm getting Jeremy to pay attention. What? What'd you say?
Clash. I heard you.
Yeah, fashion magazine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anna Lamont remarked that the track list becomes a victim of its own length. See? During the more R&B influenced songs. So, yeah, why do we need 19 songs? You know, I've mentioned this before, but, you know, take 10 of those that you think are good. And that's a good... No one wants to listen to, you know, an hour and a half album, you know.
Depends who it is.
Yeah, I guess so. And her writing throughout the mixtape was commended. Kapur Conte of Rolling Stone magazine stated that she displayed a wicked pen and brilliant charisma. And Kayan Sian Williams, I'm not making these names up, of NME described her as a witty, comical songwriter. And it is, I did laugh, you know, I did look at the lyrics, and it's really not something I would listen to again, though. Just not my type of music.
Right.
So then, you know, and I really feel sometimes albums like this really aren't for us to listen to. I don't know. You know, it's like nerdy white guys writing an album about chess club, pocket protectors, and horn rim glasses, you know, with the tape in the middle, and kind of unrelatable, you know. And if I stumbled upon something, should I be listening to this? Does it, you know, music has to kind of talk to you, speak to you. And I feel rap, you know, Jeremy and I grew up, you know, in like middle class, and I understand the whole growing up on the streets and stuff, but that doesn't really, I'm not putting that down.
Right.
You know, I commend people who can put their life into the lyrics, you know, and the personal stuff, but it just doesn't talk to me.
Right.
You know, I could never know what someone went through, you know. So anyway, so that was my first one. DOECHII.
Yeah.
Alligator Bites Never Heal. So.
Okay. So I'm actually filling in on this. I know we didn't touch on it too much, but
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of a substitute for this episode. Not that I enjoyed this particular theme that we've done a couple of years. I did it last year as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt was supposed to be here today. We were actually all three of us, and Jeremy was going to just kind of sit in. But without going into detail, Matt has some, like, kind of horrible stuff, like family stuff going on. And so he didn't feel like he could do the podcast today. And that was 2 days ago. And Jeremy, who is now, if anyone's is hiring.
Yeah, looking for work, yeah.
Jeremy is unemployed right now. So he has a lot. So Jeremy actually stepped up, and I gave him 3 random albums, one of which was Matt's random album out of 100 albums.
That's funny.
And Jeremy also came out with a top 10 albums I listened to last year. So thank you.
Yeah.
And Jeremy was coming over last night anyway. He was going to be here today anyway. So
yeah. So we're just doing a double header. But I didn't have necessarily a ton of time to prep, but I did get a chance to listen to these albums multiple times. So my first one came in at number 51 on the list. I'm assuming you left the numbers here of where they were on the top 100.
Oh, yeah, I should have put the numbers.
Well, it's listed at 51, so I'm assuming that's where it ranked. It's Mick. Is it MK.GEE or is it MK.GEE?
Yeah.
Not sure.
I think isn't there a period in there?
MK.GEE, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's GEE, so I don't know if it's G or GEE. Anyway.
Might be GEE, yeah.
The album is 2-Star and the Dream Police, which of course is not to be confused with Cheap Trick in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, I would have said that.
So this was my least favorite of the 3, but I will say, of the times we've done the album roulette, or even in my various times of just trying to stumble upon new music, this isn't the worst album that I've stumbled upon.
Okay.
Very different. Put yourself into like a Jefferson Airplane type of mindset. Mm-hmm. Very experimental, hypnotic.
Is this the one that I said was experimental?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on YouTube and I looked up one song, and he's playing guitar, but it sounded really strange to me.
It sounds like there's a ton of different instruments being used. From like...
At the same time.
Yeah, from like bongos to like... I don't even know what all was being used, but the genre is classified as bedroom pop, which I've never heard before in my life.
No, I haven't either.
So that was different. It's actually his first studio release. Did you know that? Debut album.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So a lot of credit, because you see this in a text message and you think, oh God, what am I in for? And while it was different, it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't like negative. Mm-hmm. Songs were quick. The album itself is only 33 minutes long. So you've got 12 tracks, I believe.
See, that's a nice length.
Yes,
album.
Especially when it's something that you're not necessarily into. But yeah, 12 tracks.
Well, it's nice when it's like 10 or 12, and then say you're not going to listen to the entire album, but maybe you liked one song or 2 songs. But when you have like 20 songs, I'm not going to put 5 of those songs on a playlist or something. So oddly enough, the album was supported by 5 singles. It came out last February, so this one's been out for a while. Okay.
But oddly enough, there was actually a song in there. It was track 3, which is Are You Looking Up, it's called. Mm-hmm. And the singing style reminded me of Casey and JoJo. I don't know if you remember them from the late 90s. No. They had that hit song, You're All My Love.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I do, yeah. No.
So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, which is how I could get into it. Mm-hmm. Now, it was the music itself, like the instruments, that just kind of... You needed to be like on a Pink Floyd acid trip or something.
So they're not all instrumental, right?
No.
Okay.
No, they're singing.
Yeah, I don't think I watched the whole video. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I only watched a little, and it was just him on guitar, so
Okay,
I didn't know.
No, there was singing. Like I said, I mean, it wasn't a bad album. I listened to it twice. Mm-hmm. It's not something I would go back to again. And that's not to discredit anything about the music itself, because I do think, to the right audience, getting back to what you had just talked about, I think this would be a great album. And critically, it's acclaimed quite well. Mm-hmm. There's one song specifically, it's called Elysis, and that has appeared most frequently on pretty much every critic's list of the year's best songs.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it's got some great critical acclaim. It's got some great reviews. It's got some great feedback. And even I can give it positive feedback. Like, I could rattle off easily 100, 200 worse album. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't bad. It just didn't appeal to me to the point that I would go back and listen to it or seek out more of his music, or you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to necessarily see them in concert, that type of thing. But I mean, this was third out of my 3, and if I got 3 draws like this all the time, I'd be pretty happy when it comes to album roulette. So I got to hear something different. I got to experience something a little out there. But you know, it was fairly enjoyable for I don't want to say forced to listen to it, but just us going out there and trying something different, you know, completely blind without having any awareness of what it is as you're going into it.
Yeah, we've been doing this for years now, you know, each year. And I think it's good to listen to stuff that we normally wouldn't listen to, or, you know, even have heard of. You know, we're going off of Paste magazine top 100 albums, and that's what we picked from. So these are picked by, you know, people that work for Paste, but
and this one's right in the middle. I think that's a good ranking for it. You know, a top 100 list. There's probably 49 worse albums.
What number was that?
51.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to find my next one, but the first one I just talked about was number 99, by the way.
Okay.
The rap album.
Okay.
So let's see here.
Oddly enough, this is one of the first times where I've ever done this, and I have like one ranked pretty high, one ranked in the middle, and one ranked at the bottom.
Yeah, we're kind of going from worst to best. So my next one is rated at number 29. And it's the Lemon Twigs. A Dream Is All We Know. Now, this is their 6th studio album. When I first saw this album, when it came up in new albums back in May, I thought the name sounded familiar. You know, but as we get older, our minds play tricks on us, and I figured it out finally. I said, where have I heard this name before? Lemon Twigs? Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out I was thinking of the Mighty Mighty Lemon Drops.
Okay.
Because the lemon from the 80s.
Yeah.
And totally different band. Because the Lemon Twigs formed in 2014. So they've been around about 10 years. And first off, this is an album... for me, if this album came out in the 70s, I would have passed it off as some pompous... And I'm going to sound like George Carlin or some hippie shit. And there's bands that have stood the test of time, you know, since the 60s, 70s. But and what I'm getting at is this album has that sound, you know, the 60s, 70s sound.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like it came out of the 60s. Now, the band's from Hicksville, a neighborhood of Long Island, New York. They're a duo and consist of brothers Brian and Michael Diario. I don't know if they're related to... Isn't that an actress with that last name, Diario?
Maybe. I don't know.
Both brothers are vocalists, songwriters, and multi-instrumentalists. And during live performances, they are joined by Danny Ayala. He's on keyboards, vocals, drums, guitar, and bass. and Reza Maitin on drums, vocals, guitar, and bass. So I guess they switch off and on. And the band's music has been noted for its stylistic roots in 60s and 70s pop and rock music, ranging from power pop to glam rock, art rock, and jangle pop, which I just heard of recently. Jangle pop.
Okay. Like bedroom pop.
I think it has to do with the way the guitar is played.
Okay.
I think they referenced that in Riverdale. No, that's the jingle jangle, or no, that's a drug. Since their commercial debut in 2016, the Lemon Twigs have released 5 studio albums, 1 live album, and an EP. And they also, the brothers have also collaborated musically with other acts, including Ways Blood, I don't know who and Todd Rundgren. We know who Todd Rundgren is. So now, if you only listen to the first track, you will be thrown off because the first track starts out very strong. And the lead singer even raises his voice a couple octaves, like he is almost screaming at one point. And where the rest of the songs are either bubblegum pop or music I have here to take a nap to. Now, track 2, we've gone into Partridge Family territory. That's the first track is like upbeat, like I wouldn't say it's rocking, and then we go into Partridge Family. Once you get to track 6, In the Eyes of the Girl, we've now become the Beach Boys for the next 4 songs.
Okay.
Somehow. Slow, melodic, harmonious, sleep-inducing. They're track 8, How Can I Love Her More? The harmonies are really good on this song. And this is probably my favorite song on the album. It's like a Bobby Sherman was in the Beach Boys. I have here just really good song. Now, in a 2024 interview, band members Michael Diario described the band's sound as fundamentally pop rock. It's not always power pop, and it's certainly not always glam rock. Now, I didn't hear any. Smithereens are considered power pop. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear anything like that on this.
Okay.
Like I said, that there's 4 songs that sound like the Beach Boys on here. He says the through line would be pop structures and rock-based instrumentation. Michael cited the Beatles and the Beach Boys as their ultimate musical influences, and you can hear it on this. And adding that their other musical influences were in turn inspired by those bands. Let's see. Now I have here, some other bands I think they sound like, of course, Partridge Family, track 2. They Don't Know How to Fall in Place. Actually, let's see. I guess those 2 songs. Weird Al. Track 5, Sweet Vibration, it's called. XTC, track 10, Peppermint Roses. And I think this song could have been on their Oranges and Lemons album. I'm serious, it goes right in with that XTC album. Dave Edmunds, track 12, Rock On. And Rock On Over and Over. And they start and end the album with 2 upbeat songs. So if you fell asleep between track 2 and 11, you'll be woken up by track 12, I think. But I think the effort is there, and there's sort of a tribute to some of those great 60s bands, but I really think these bands who try to sound like an entire decade lose their own creativity sometimes.
Right.
It's almost a tribute. I mean, they aren't doing their song, they're doing their own songs, but they're taking bits and pieces of what we is ingrained in our minds as what 60s and 70s music sounds like. I mean, I'd rather put on a Steely Dan or Barry Manilow even than listening to this album. And I have here, I'm sure it's something new and exciting for younger people who didn't really grow up hearing the music that we did on the radio. But for me, I'd rather go back and listen to those 60s, 70s bands.
Fair enough.
And I'm not putting down all those bands because there is one band from New Jersey that I'm friends with, the Gripweeds, and they're like a 60s, 70s. The way they do it, though, is they have their own sound. They're not trying to... Like, for a band that sound like the Beach Boys on 4 songs is, you know, that's not their own sound, you know. And, so not knowing much about the band, I did go back and listen to some of their past albums. I didn't listen to every song, but I think this album is their best, you know, as far as what I listened to, their past albums. And I do have a confession that I really never liked the Beach Boys that much.
Oh, wow.
There are a couple songs. You know, I never surfed, owned a fuel-injected Stingray. I was never true to my school.
Okay. You're giving off some bad vibrations here.
Yeah. I do like their Christmas album, though.
Yeah.
You know.
It's Little Saint Nick.
Yeah. And no, I do like... I've just never owned... I think I owned a CD, the best of Beach Boys, but I also feel like you can't listen to the Beach Boys during the winter, you know, so it's kind of... You got to listen to them in the summer.
That's funny.
And so all their albums are sort of like Christmas albums. You got a couple months there, you know, you can listen to them. I'd give this album like a 6, I think. I said musically it's decent, but I don't, like I said, see myself listening to it again. And that's always a big plus for me.
Right.
Because over the years, there are artists I go back to. I'll go back to their album and like, oh, I haven't listened to that in a while.
Yep.
And I'm talking artists from the last 10 years too. So, you know, even if there really wasn't one song that was catchy to me, you know, that I couldn't get out of my head. So not even a song I would put in a playlist. So nothing really, I don't know, nothing really grabbed me on that one.
Yeah.
But it was much better than the rap album.
There you go.
Yeah.
So my number 2 ranked album actually ranked number 15. It is Lives Outgrown by BETH Gibbons, who is an English artist. And this album, what are the words that I'm going to try and say for it? First of all, I did some research on her because her singing, it almost doesn't sound like she's singing.
Okay.
It almost sounds like she's just kind of speaking in a harmonized way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, she's not a power singer by any stretch.
Like Lou Reed kind of sang.
Yeah. But she's in her 60s.
Okay.
So this is also a debut album. So I got
Really?
2 people were debut albums.
No, wait, debut, and she's 60.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's almost like, and I think I'm going to mention her in my top 10 is Kate Hudson, who put out her first. I just assumed she had other albums out for some odd reason. And she just put out her debut album. So
this came out in May, and it's funny because one of the singles is Floating on a Moment, and that's probably my least favorite song of the album. It was over 5 minutes long and just felt like it drug on and on and on. But the album received a lot of positive reviews. Obviously, it ranked number 15 on this list, but it was also nominated for the 2024 Mercury Prize.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. Genre, here we go. We're going to go 3 for 3 on genres I've never heard of before.
Okay.
Chamber pop.
Oh, yeah. We had bedroom music and now chamber.
It almost felt to me like a not soft rock, but like a Janis Joplin, not the voice, but just kind of the style of the music, like the instruments and stuff. Yeah. So I enjoyed the musical aspect of it. Her singing didn't blow me away by any stretch. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like good, if that makes sense. Yeah. It wasn't like Lizzie Hale belting out a song or something.
Well, it took her 60 years for her someone to finally say, maybe you should Maybe you should record an album.
Yeah. She did the vocals on all the tracks. She also plays acoustic guitar, regular guitar, and a vocoder.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
I don't either. There's a lot of various instruments on this album as well. Like, I'm just looking here. There's spoons, there's cello, there's flute, Hammond organ, recorders. Remember those things from school?
How do you learn how to play the spoon?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you start with the fork and then...
A synth piano, Chinese lute, bass clarinet, ebo, like there's everything on here. I listened to this one twice. If this came on, I wouldn't be upset about it. Like I would listen to it. I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to listen to it again.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of her singing style. If you were to go and check it out, I think you maybe would know what I'm talking about. But
okay.
I think if she was more like anything, you know...
It sounds like she might be more like Beth Orton, who has a very unique style of singing. And I think she can sing, but I don't think she has a good vocal range. I've seen her in concert, like, you know, at that church in Montclair. But she has a very unique voice, and it's hard to describe. But I'm going to have to check her out. Beth Gibbons?
Beth Gibbons, okay. Live's Outgrown. I did have a favorite song on the album. It was called Reaching Out, and ironically enough, that was the other single off of the album.
Okay.
It was track number 6. So I thought, oh, like, cool, I found a song that I like that might not get talked about, but here it was a single that was released. So it's like, okay, that was... Everybody else thought that was one of the better songs as well, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I would at least give it a check. It obviously made the top 15, so critics liked it, people liked it, but I don't know. It felt close to rock from the musical aspect of things, but just her, like, I sound like I'm criticizing her singing, and I'm not. It doesn't sound like she's putting a lot into it, but it works. I don't know.
And it's her debut, so maybe she'll, you know, who knows how long she's been singing.
You're not going to get a lot of falsetto or, you know, high notes, at least from what I'm
just interested that
gathered from
she's 60, and, you know, I'm going to have to look her up and see why it took her so long. Maybe we'll interview her and ask her.
There you go.
Why so long? You know, like Rodney Dangerfield didn't start acting until he was in his 60s, I think.
Right. So that was my number 2.
Okay. Now my last one here is probably my favorite, because again, I'm attracted to a female singer, but I actually like this album. And this was number 32. And it's, if I say it right, NILUFER, YANYA.
Okay.
My Method Actor, it's called. And let's see here. Now, she's a British singer, songwriter, musician. This is her 3rd studio album. Her first was 2019. Now, I never heard of her before. And first of all, the music is very soothing on this album. Like her voice, and it's just, I found it very, I don't know, very soothing. Very calming. Okay, so it made it to number 1, actually, on the UK independent chart. So only 53 on the official charts. And she doesn't call anyone a bitch on here or mention her her vagina. So, you know, it didn't chart very high in the US charts at all. You know, you really got to put those words in there to get on the top 10. Although Taylor Swift, you know, she doesn't do that. Now, she opened for Adele. She toured with Roxy Music, which I didn't even know was still around, in 2022. But the album kind of reminded me of when I was into NILUFER. Do you know NILUFER?
Yes. I know the name.
And I was doing a little painting for a couple months back in 1989. Here's a little story. It was the summer of Rob. I was single, free. I gave up bathing for a while. I painted, listened to Enya. So, I started listening to this, and pretty soon I realized it was the 10th day of me not bathing.
Oh, God.
I just showered this morning. No, I'm just kidding. So the first track almost sounds like... This is weird, because it sounds like her voice... If Dua Lipa's voice was slowed down,
Oh, God.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's right. If you took a Dua Lipa album and played it slower...
Get the fuck out.
What? Dua, Jesus. Kids listening. So, and so as I listened to it, the more I thought of another singer she sounds like, who I discovered last year, and her name is Freya Ridings. The voices are pretty similar. So it's kind of a mellow voice, it's, like I said, take Dua Lipa, put her on, if you had trying to think of the RPMs, whatever it is that you have to slow the album down. So track 1 is Keep On Dancing. I would say it's not a good song to start, for listeners. And I'm trying to think, do people listen to any more albums like I do? Or maybe, I don't know if you do, Jeremy. If you listen to a new album, like the album Roulette, we probably go through, track 1 to the last one, right?
Right.
But, on Apple Music, they have a little asterisk for I guess they're the singles. So do people listen to those first? But as I listen to this, what I'm trying to say is track 1, I don't think is a good opening song if you're going to listen to her voice is a little distorted on the first one. Now, the songs I really liked was track 2. It's called Like I Say, I Run Away. It has a great rhythm and flow. The beat kind of reminded me of Susan Vega's song 99 Degrees. When you get to track 3, Method Actor, kind of starts out slow like the first 2 songs, but then a distorted guitar kicks in about 50 seconds in, and something you're not really expecting after you hear the first 2 songs. Track 5, Mutations, the syncopated drums, cello. It's a real cello. Someone's playing a real cello. Track 8, Faith's Late, kind of a Sade sound to it. Track 9, Made Out of Memory. It's one of the more upbeat songs and continues with the Sade sound. There's a great hook in this song, and I love the keyboard sound. I don't know if it's I don't think it's a piano, but it might be a synthesizer in this song. Track 11, Wingspan, has some sort of flange sounding guitar being played over and over, and that's kind of my least favorite track on this. Now she's on vocals, and there's this other guy, Will Archer, who's playing guitar, bass, and other sounds that are programmed or from a synthesizer. And of course, there's a girl playing a cello on 2 of the songs. So I'll give this album an 8. Oh my God, stomach. So I'll give this album an 8. There's something about her voice that's very attractive. Without sounding pervy, but, music is, it has to, you have to like the voice, you have to like everything, lyrics. I mean, not so much sometimes the lyrics,
right?
But how it flows. And this album is really, really nice album. I can see myself enjoying a nice bourbon, smoking a cigar while I listen to this, just kind of chilling out. So, but I checked this album out, and it's NILUFER YANYA. NILUFER YANYA, my method actor. And this is a person probably when she puts out her next album that I would check out again, see if I like it even more.
Right.
So that was my last one.
All right. My favorite album of the 3 ranked at number 98, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It was Feeling Figures, Everything Around You.
And this is the album that Matt had.
Really?
So
I'd be curious to know how he felt about it, because I loved it.
Yeah, I'll ask him soon.
I actually listened to it 3 times already. I want to know more about the band. There's not a lot out there about them, though.
Okay.
I had a really hard time finding any information. They're out of Canada. I know that.
What number album?
98.
No, I mean, do you have what?
They only have 2 albums out.
Okay, so this is their second.
One in 2023 and one in 2024.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thought it was their 98th.
They don't even have a Wikipedia page. So
98th album.
No. They don't even have a wiki page, so I don't know like members of the band or anything.
Really?
Yeah. But it reminded me, so the songs are like the first song you have male vocals. Mm-hmm. The second song you have female vocals.
Okay.
Unless it's a guy doing falsetto. I don't know. But it almost reminded me of, like, remember Head East? Never Been Any Reason. You got, like, the female part, the male part. Like, it reminded me a lot of that. Mm-hmm. It was a very, like, upbeat rock type vibe to this album, at least for me. Mm-hmm. A lot of energy in their music. Okay. And just simple but enjoyable. Mm-hmm. I really, really loved this album. I'm gonna go back and check out the album from 2023. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't find any information out about this band.
That's weird.
It's a foursome. I know there's 4 people in the band.
They don't have a website?
There's like nothing.
Really?
Yeah. And the only info I did get was from Paste.
Okay.
But it says the Montreal foursome make a mark on the legacy of underground rock on their second album, which was actually recorded before their first.
Yeah, they don't. They have an Instagram.
Yes.
Bandcamp.
Yeah, I don't know what Bandcamp is. I saw that.
That's where they sell their music.
Oh, okay.
And they last posted November 21st. Our Figs and Flu fall tour was a total blast. Yeah, I see 3 guys and a girl, and I think this is our friend Dallas in the band on the right. Does that look like that? He's everywhere. Doesn't it look like him? Anyway.
So anyway, I wish I could tell you more about this band. I want to learn more about this band. I will definitely be checking out their music in the future. Yeah. Because this album really left an impact on me. I was into it from the first track all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Now they played September 30th. Actually, they posted Thursday, November 14th at Laundrette. I guess that's a place. Port Richmond, Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So they were playing. I'll have to check them out. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the album.
And the girl's playing guitar. There's a live thing there.
Yeah. She also sings for. There's got to be both male and female vocals. It's.
Yeah. So I was Filling Figures, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It ranked 98 on the list, but man, this would have been in my top 10 easily.
So we're gonna. Was that it?
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I had more. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so they weren't totally bad. Like my first album there, that rap album. Like I said, I'm sure people like that stuff. I also don't like the raunchy. Like I don't understand. It doesn't serve a purpose to me.
Right. Yep.
So thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to contact us again, nogoodmusicpodcast@gmail.com. If you're a musician, singer, songwriter, band, you have some fairly new music, you want to send us a song, we'll listen to it, and we may feature it on our regular show, which we have Give It a Listen. So So anyway, thanks everybody for listening, and always remember, turn off that TV.
And turn up the music.
You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's show was produced by Rob J. Lilly and recorded live and unedited at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Intro and exit music by the band 99%.
It's kind of magical.